The mistake that most businesses make is that they think growth is all about how much you sell, the services you offer, etc. Scaling doesn't happen because of the stuff you sell. Scaling happens because of how you make people feel. Think about your favorite brands, the businesses and companies that you're loyal to. Are they the cheapest? Are they the most convenient? Or is it about the relationship that you feel like you have with them? Do you feel you've bought into them, or do you feel like you buy from them? And this is a really important thing to sort out, because if you build belonging, your business will grow easier and quicker, and you'll enjoy the whole process more, versus wasting a lot of time and money feeling you're doing the right thing, but it's never going to pay off. So of course I have a story, and it's recent. I am a skier, okay? There are skiers and there are people who ski. Minus 20 below Celsius, I'm going. Treacherous roads up the mountain, I'm going. All my ski buddies bail, whatever, I'm going, okay? Skiers would take a pass on any of those circumstances. So I find myself at Tremblant, and as I go through the line, I get to the card reader, my pass won't work. It won't let me onto the lift. So I sort of complain to the guy that's standing there, who lets me in right away. I do a run, I come down, the same thing, it's not working. He says, go up again and then just ski to the chalet. You'll have to get that sorted out. Okay, I'm a skier. The idea of going into the chalet is sacrilegious to me. I don't want to waste any time in administration, but I have no choice. So I ski, and I'm a little annoyed by this, by the way, because it's not, there's a glitch, there's some kind of problem. It's not me. It's not human error for a change. So I ski down to the chalet as quick as I can. I know this is just going to eat up my precious time. I look inside, there's a lineup. Oh no, I get in and I'm in it now. And I'm frustrated and I'm a little annoyed. And everybody's taking too much time. Okay, I'm just like, oh, every minute feels like an hour. It's just painful. Then I make it to the counter, and one guy changes everything. One guy. I get up, I tell him, I said, there's a problem with my pass. It's not letting me on the chair. And the way, I'll admit this to you now, the way I'm talking about it, you think I was telling him my house was on fire. It's the worst tragedy in the world. I am inconvenienced. He scans my pass and he does something powerful. Take note. He immediately uses my name, Belonging. He scans it, he goes, okay, Dennis, let's get this fixed. Okay, and he's scanning the chair, but just by using my name, okay, something happens. I feel seen. Come on, guys, this isn't hard. Okay, the next thing he does, this is number 2, is he recognizes me. As he's scanning my screen to figure out what the problem might be, he says, wow, you've been a pass holder for longer than 20 years. I said, that's right. He says, you should have a key to the place. Okay, boom. I'm now transformed. I'm not upset. I'm no longer annoyed that some glitch has got me off the slopes and in line with a bunch of humans. Right away, I'm dealing with Buddy, and I just know I'm going to get solved, okay? He's used my name, and he's recognized me. Here's a third little tip for you. Language. So in your own business, you need to use people's names, and you need to have a greeter, okay? They got to be human. Does your business have a greeter or some kind of experience when anybody walks in the door where they feel like they are welcomed? Here's the third. In experience design, we call this language as a harmonizing cue of the impression you want to make. That's a fancy way of saying if you want people to feel like they belong, you got to use the right language, such as Apple computers. The very first Apple I ever bought, I turned it on. If you've had the same experience, what does it say? It says welcome. Welcome to Apple, okay? Welcome is so much better than log in, okay? Member, our members is much better than customers or clients. And finally, this kid yesterday, instead of using the word policy, he said this, okay, here's how I can take care of you. What he was explaining is, with my pass, I get 4 what they call floater days. 4 days where I can ski on my pass, even if it's not a pass day. So I get to ski for free anyway. So it's like your pass plus 4 free days when you're allowed to use your pass. But he was explaining yesterday that wasn't one of those days. That yesterday I was going to pay the full ticket, which is about the same price as a round of golf. It's not insignificant. But instead of positioning it as an excuse, he said, okay, here's how I can help you. And he said, today is not a floater day because of whatever the hell the condition was, but I can click this right now and get you on your way. Here's how I can take care of you. It's just such a great example of using language properly. Here's another one, rituals. What kind of rituals do you have in your client experience? I'm wearing this hat, okay? This is man-made. And if you've seen the commercials for man-made, they make underwear, they make t-shirts, they make a hat, they now make a sweater. Well, a little free advertising for them. They are as advertised. It's the best stuff I've ever owned and I love it. Here's what I love even more. When you make your first order, I don't want to ruin the surprise, you get a handwritten note from the owners or the founders, okay? And then when you make a second order, they recognize that. Hey, you're back, we love it. Your third order, your fourth order, it just keeps getting better. That's an example of a really good ritual. Returning guests, returning people to your guests, members to your business should be treated differently, of course, than first-time guests. The first time a person walks into your business, it should feel like something. They should feel like, oh, thank goodness I found the right place. The second time back, can you imagine if you used their name and you remembered who they were? The example I use all the time is even something as insignificant as a coffee shop. The second or third time in, the person remembers your name and your order. That's no longer a coffee shop. That's your coffee shop. Here's the third one. Exiting. This is all under ritual. When it comes to an experience, people remember two things. They remember the peak of the experience and they remember how it ends. So when I first walked in and saw the lineup of people, remember, I'm not happy at this moment. I'm annoyed that technology is buggering up my morning. I rolled out of bed really early to get there, to get my runs in early. I was on the lift, like should have been on at 8:30. When I walked in, there was a guy there just kind of standing, policing the line. And I appealed to him. Is there anything you can do to help me out? I've got a pass, it's just not working. And he said, no, unfortunately, you just have to get in this line. They can only sort that here. He was sort of there to separate the people who had, let's say, pass problems from the people who wanted to rent equipment. So whatever. I get in line. The other guy helps me as I leave. That first guy, this is on the exiting phase, he literally gave me a high five. He goes, that guy, he took care of you? I said, yeah. He goes, okay. Gives me a high five. He goes, get out there. I loved it. Okay, I just thought it was perfect. Rituals are important. Rituals are things that your clients look forward to. These are things that they know are going to happen and they look forward to it. Every time we come in, this is what happens. They use my name. They get me a drink. They come over and say this. I think of the hotels I check into. Rituals. I get a special place to check in. They offer me a gift. Would you like points? Would you like credit? Etc. and so forth. Okay, next is team empowerment. This is all about how you can create belonging. Belonging and the sense of feeling special dies the moment people feel scripted. So again, like I said a minute ago, empower your team to make people's problems go away. There is nothing worse than explaining to somebody what your problem is, and then they go get someone else, and you have to explain it to them. Empower your team. When somebody has a problem, learn to say this. Okay, here's what I can do. Just fix the problem. Don't tell me, oh, our policy is I have to check with them. Nobody wants to hear about your lousy, terrible policies. Empower your team, everybody on your team, remind them. Belonging is job one. More important than upselling somebody, more important than asking, are you aware of this or that, is belonging. Okay, make sure that person feels special. I was in line with a whole bunch of people who were literally up there buying passes for the day. I've been buying a season pass for over 20 years. And you know what? By the time I was done with that guy, I felt like that, which is part of this one. Make the invisible visible. What was invisible to everyone in the line is I'm not a once or twice a year at Tremblant guy. I'm a I don't know why I don't own a property there kind of guy. Trust me, I think about it all the time. Make the invisible visible is what I'm trying to say. That kid, you've been a pass holder for over 20 years. You know what you can do in your business that's easy? And everything I just told you to do is really easy. Have one of your team members introduce the member to another team member. Hey, I want you to meet somebody. And just call anybody over and say, hey, other person, do you know who this is? And this is Dennis Moseley-Williams. He's been a pass holder here for over 20 years. Give me a moment. How many days a year do you get in here, Dennis? About 30. He skis 30 days here. He drives up from Ottawa. He's a diehard. Come on, make me feel like something. I'm a client of TD Canada Trust here in Canada. And I have my advisor is with them. I have a mortgage with them. All of my business runs through them. Like, I am a good client of TD. How come you're a client of TD? Because of this one guy 50 million years ago, Jason Rolston. He doesn't even work for them anymore. One day I'm in the bank, he looks out and I'm in line. Okay, and he comes over and he goes, oh, hello, Mr. Moseley-Williams. And he kind of made some fun out of it because he and I were on a first name basis at that time. He pulls me out of line. He brings me over to the wicket where the business, banking is done. He introduces me to the person there, and this is what he says. Whatever that person's name is, this is Mr. Moseley-Williams. He's one of our most important clients. Okay? Whatever he wants, just give it to him. Okay, now, just a little background on that. I do a lot of work in the United States of America, and I live in Canada. So when I come in with US checks, this is going back a long time ago, of course, well, they'd hold them until they cleared. Even if I said, no, this check is written from literally Bank of America. They're good for it. Trust me, they're not going to bounce this check. Didn't matter. I had to wait sometimes weeks for those funds to clear. I guess I mentioned it to Jason one time, and there I was in line, and that's what he said. He introduced me to another team member. You can do that. Let me cover them again real fast. Use your clients' names. Come on. Be human. Have a greeter. This one's just coming to me. Use a CRM so you can capture notes so that every single time somebody's interacting with your business, their story is already known. They're known. They don't have to retell the story again. Recognize them for who they are. Oh my goodness, you're an important client. Have some rituals, my friends. Make sure it feels like something the first time you deal with the brand, and make sure it feels just as good but different when you're a returning client. These things are not rocket science, everybody. Empower your team. Tell them what job one is. Job one is not upselling. Job one is not getting the client the hell out of the store. Job one is making sure we make them feel like they belong here and we belong to them. And finally, make the invisible visible. It is such a good one. Ensure they feel important. I've talked about this before. I'm an Air Canada Super Elite member. I'm going to tell you something. While I want to tell you, none of this special stuff really matters to me that much. Of course it does. I mean, there are people that live for it. I'm not one of them. But here it is. When I'm standing in line waiting to get on the airplane and the concierge comes over and finds me standing in a herd of people and says good morning to me and nobody else, it's not that they're kissing my ass. What they're doing is they're making the invisible. This guy's flown almost 2 million miles with us. He's one of our most important clients. You'd never notice as I stand there in my jeans and t-shirts, but I am. They're making the invisible visible. It's remarkably powerful. When I sit on the airplane, the whatever they call the lead flight attendant, the flight director, they always come over and talk to me first. Mr. Moseley-Williams, thanks for flying with us again today. When we get in the air, would you like something to drink? And will you be joining us for the meal service? Does it make me feel like a more important person? No. Does it make me feel better about myself? No. What it makes me feel is I belong and I'm recognized. Don't make the same mistake other businesses do. Scaling and growth isn't about selling more stuff. It's about creating more connection. And don't make this mistake either. Make sure you like this video, follow me, and watch this video next.